I'm Bonnie. Welcome to Tarot with Bonnie and Peter, where we take the mystery out of the tarot and help you bring this ancient practice into everyday life. In this podcast, we'll talk about life, tarot, and everything in between. So grab your tarot deck, get comfortable, and start your journey to tarot with Bonnie and Peter. Welcome to Tarot with Bonnie and Peter. I'm Bonnie, and today we are going to continue the conversation that we've been having the past few episodes with the major cards. So Peter and I are going to each pull a card from the Major Arcana, and we're going to pretend we're having dinner with this archetype. So we'll answer as if we're that particular card and hopefully give you some insights, maybe some laughs. And we'll see what comes up. We think
and some memory lapses and
the memory lapses. This is really, Peter and I don't prepare which card we're going to pick ahead of time. We literally do it while we're recording. And some of these questions really stump us, and it stretches us. And we thought, should we change some of the questions? And we're like, no, let's just keep it as is, because this is real. And this is a really great way to get to know these archetypes and, maybe put a different spin on maybe what some of their messaging would be if they were in that particular situation. So we're having a lot of fun doing this, even though, again, it's a little stressful when we can't think of an answer right away. But we hope you love this. And so that's what we're going to do again today. So hi, Peter. How are you?
I'm good, Bonnie. It actually, when you mentioned that, it reminded me of one of our early episodes we did when what do you do when you draw a blank, right? Those kind of strategies, right? So we're sort of drawing on those strategies live, while we're recording this podcast episode. So now I'm doing well. I've changed my deck, though.
Okay.
I have prepared it. I pulled out we had 6. Yeah, I think I pulled out the 6 cards. But I'm using the Phantom Wise Tarot by Aaron Morgenstern. And that's because
such a great deck.
It's a really good deck. It's not, now Aaron Morgenstern is the author who wrote the book, The Night Circus. And I just took it out from the library a few weeks ago and finished it just a few days ago. And I really enjoyed it. So it kind of had me pulling the deck back out again. I think I actually got it. It might have been a secondhand deck. I might have actually got it through the deck exchange, like the deck swap that Megan does at Healing Moon. But yeah, because the coloring is the same as the theme of the circus in the book. So I was like, you know what? I should
check that out, because I have that deck. It was one of the earlier decks that I got, and such a charming deck. Like it's a really great deck to work with, and I haven't worked with it in a long time. So you're.
Have you read the book?
No, I haven't read the book. That's right.
Okay.
I should read the book.
Totally. And anybody who's listening, because there's actually a tarot reader named Isabel. So the tarot actually plays a minor role in the circus, but one of the characters in the circus is a tarot reader and does several readings over the course of the book itself. And when we talk about the idea of archetypes, some of the archetypes and characters in the court cards are easily spotted in the Night Circus. As a matter of fact, and I was mentioning before we hit record, I used a quote from the book in the Cards of Cancer series, the first seminar or webinar in the series of the Cards of the Zodiac that I just did live, just a few days before we record this. And I used one of Aaron Morgenstern's quotes in to start the course off, actually, around the importance of story. And then there was another one around timing. She talks about the fact that timing is one of the hardest things to do in the tarot. So it really is a very tarot friendly book. Anyways, that's an aside. That's the deck I'm using today. What about you? Did you do a deck swap, or you?
I did. I think I used this already in this series, but I'm going back. So this is Tarot of the Witch's Garden by Sasha Graham.
Yeah. I think you started out with that one.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is my first deck swap. So and it's really the first time I think I've used this deck in any kind of work other than, it has to be, because it was in order. The Major Arcana cards were easy to find. They were the first 22 on top of the deck. So I had gone through it, did my little, oh, which card resonates with me, and then that's about it. So this will be a learning experience for me too, from this perspective.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so do you want to pull for? So
Sure.
I'm going to let Peter pull first, and then I'm going to take out the card that he pulls. Because last week we both pulled the
The
lover's
lover's
card.
card.
But
That's right. Yes.
yes.
And
So,
we're down to 16 cards. So the odds of pulling the same card are there. All right. Yay. I pulled the star card, actually. So I'm not,
nice.
I say yay, only because I'm like, there's some cards I think that would be easier to do than others. The star card isn't one of them.
Okay, I'm pulling my star card out.
Okay.
I know now that I'm looking at these cards, I'm like, oh no, we've done this a few times now, and I'm like scared what's going to come up. Okay.
I know, because, there's some challenging cards that have not come up yet.
Okay, I got the sun.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you know what? We'll at least have a pretty optimistic and hopeful and radiant, dinner. We have two luminaries at dinner, right? We've got the, I guess, minor luminary or smallest luminary in the star, and we've got that big, radiant, shining, bright, in your face spotlight, 1 million lumens kind of thing from the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be good. Okay.
All right.
You ready, Peter? Take a few deep breaths. Okay.
Ready.
Do you want me to ask you first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, Star. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is gonna be a hard one for me. You know what? Look, I'm the star. So, I think about the star. I think about that link to Aquarius. So I'm probably going to a tarot conference. So I'm probably going somewhere where I can sort of, learn my esoteric studies. I can flex that esoteric muscle, because that is kind of the home of Aquarius. So I'm going to make a bit of an astrological link, and I'll be even more specific. I'll go to Manchester, England, in July, and go to the
Tabby.
Tabby. Go to the Tabby conference for that weekend there. That's what I would do. Even though I'm attending the conference virtually, I'm the star card. I'm going to send the star card as my emissary to go and do some esoteric learning and, shining that light of renewal that the star has with all the people that are there.
I love it.
All right. What
That's
about
awesome.
you? What about you? If you could go travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go there? I was going to say Apollo, but that's the god, I guess, that's linked to the sun.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So again, I'm gonna go with my first instincts here when I pull that, and I'm like, where would I go? I'm gonna go to Hawaii.
That's exactly what I would have said too.
Really? Okay.
Totally.
Because you think about the sun, like the sun is abundant, the sun is joyful. It's just like a make you feel good card. And I've never been to Hawaii, and that's one of the places I really want to go. But I was thinking like, well, I want to go somewhere where it's warm and tropical.
Yes.
And Hawaii popped into my head. And actually, oh, that's so funny. Okay, here we go. I didn't even look at that. So in this particular card, the horses are wearing wreaths, but they almost look like leis, when you go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And well, I'm assuming you get a lei when you go to, I've been to the airport in Hawaii when en route to Australia, but I didn't leave the airport. So I didn't get a lei.
Yeah,
I had a layover in Hawaii. Okay, there we go.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah. So I'm going to Hawaii. The sun card is taking me to Hawaii, to sunny Hawaii. I'm guessing it's sunny there.
I've been 3 times. It is one of my favorite places on the planet.
Okay.
I mean, Kelly and I were married in Hawaii, so.
Oh, you were? I didn't know that.
We were married in Maui, actually, midway point between here and Australia. So.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Wow, I learned something new about you today, Peter.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
There you go. As did many other people. Although I think we probably mentioned that on her podcast, and she's married in Hawaii. So and we went back for a holiday. Actually, we were supposed to go to Maui, and we actually had to change our plans because we were going just a week after the horrible fires in Maui, and they were asking tourists to stay away. So we ended up changing and not going to Maui by the request of the Hawaiian government. But we've been to Maui twice. We went early on in our relationship, and then we went again when we got married, and then we went to Hawaii. Would have been 2023, and it was beautiful. It's beautiful. So I would have said the sun, like that's where I would have said too, because you're right. It's almost perennial sun, and it's a stunning place. So good call. Good call. All right. Second question then to you, to the sun. Always one of our favorite questions, because often we're like, do you have a favorite book or movie you recommend to everyone?
Okay, I'm the sun. Do I have a favorite book or a favorite movie that I could recommend? Okay, first movie that popped into my head. I'm gonna go with the movie Blended with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Okay. All right.
Have you seen Blended?
No, I haven't seen it. So tell me about why your choice.
Okay, it's cute. Okay. They go to Africa though. I don't think they go to Hawaii, but they go. So it's I don't want to give it all away if people haven't seen this movie, but it's actually quite cute. It's like these two people go out on a double date. It doesn't go well, and so fine, they go their separate ways, and then they end up through a mutual person. They end up on the same trip together, and they're both. One is a widow and one is divorced, and they both have kids. So they end up on this trip together, and it's like they have to act like they're married, I think, to get the room that they were in. Something like that. I'm messing it up. But anyway, so of course, in Adam Sandler style movies, right, there's lots of humor, and, it's like a disaster. And then it ends up and, things work out in the end. But it's a cute movie. It's fun to watch with your family. And it's, again, seeing like sometimes a disastrous situation can work out in the end, right? It's about, sort of just making the best of it. And yeah, so it's I like that movie. It's funny, and it's in Africa. It's where they go. It's like sunny and tropical, and yeah, it's like a make you feel good movie, right? Like a rom-com. You probably haven't seen, like, you're probably not a rom-com kind of guy, are you?
Oh, you'll learn something else about. I'm a huge fan of particularly kind of older style rom-coms. I love a good rom-com. Actually, love one.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going with Blended.
Okay.
How about you, Peter? So, as the star card, do you have a favorite book or movie you could recommend to everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a movie as well this time. I think I've kind of gone back and forth, book, movie. I'm going to pick Up. I think is it Pixar? The animated movie Up. Because, right, like this is a card of hope. And I think, the movie kind of starts out with this flash through this man's life with the love of his life. And then, not to take a lot of things away, he loses her. And it's like he's given up hope in his life. Like, you can't watch this movie with dry eyes. It's impossible to watch this movie with dry eyes, right? It's impossible. And then, of course, the little kid who ends up, coming to his house, and Russell, and then the house, kind of floats away, and they end up developing a strong relationship. And I think it gives him hope at a time when he had no hope, right? So I think, although hope isn't the biggest theme in the movie, it is one of the themes in the movie. And I thought, it's a movie too, where when we think about the star, when we think everything is dark, the star really does represent that first piece of light as well. And, for him, he would have thought his entire life was dark. And then, the appearance of Russell, not at first, but the appearance of Russell kind of being that pinprick of light shining through a dark sky. So I'd pick Up.
Oh, you know what?
I-
That's a great movie. And it is a very, although it is an animated movie, right? More geared towards kids. It's a very adult
oh yeah,
theme,
totally.
right?
Is it
Yeah, that's
Pixar? Is it Pixar? Is that the
is
studio
it Pixar?
or
Yeah,
Disney?
probably.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyways,
isn't, yeah, I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
no, I'm the same.
I
I'm
should
because
know because I've seen that movie many,
yes,
many, many
right.
times.
Also, like the movie Inside Out and Inside Out 2, same thing, right? Animated movies, but adults can watch them and be like, wow. Don't get me started on animated movies now too. So
Oh, okay. Well, and it's funny that you said up because, it's like the balloons that carry the house, right? And
yeah,
take it away. And in the star card in the Light Seers Tarot, I don't know if she's actually holding onto a balloon, but she's holding onto something that's going up into the sky. And that always reminds me of like, right? Like, so it's funny that you picked a movie that has holding on to something with balloons, and then it reminded me of that star
of the
card in
card.
the Light Seers Tarot. So
Yeah.
it is kind of that, like, what are you wishing for? And allow those wishes to carry you, right? So
Yeah.
it's this like sense of hope and optimism. So I love that.
I have to confess, I actually only quickly glanced at the card, which, is shameful here. So I thought, oh my goodness, I wondered, like, is there a balloon? But there's not. I thought, I'm going to look at this and there's going to be like a balloon in there. No wonder, that's why I thought, oh, a balloon. But of course, I've got the cover of the box sitting right here for the Phantom Eyes Tarot. And I wonder if, the movie Up jumped to mind because the balloon is sitting there. I wonder if
Yeah, the hot
subconsciously-
air balloon.
hot air
Oh,
balloon.
look. And so here's the star card in the Light Seers Tarot.
Yeah.
She's not holding a balloon, but it's almost like this string is attached to the sun
Correct.
or I guess
Yeah,
not the
true.
sun, but like a bright star.
Well, the sun is a bright
The sun
star,
is a
right?
star.
So
Yeah,
our guests are
exactly.
related tonight, actually. Our guests are
They're
probably
related. They're both, yeah, the cosmos.
exactly. All right. So that's the one. That's what I would do. So
Cool. I love it. Okay. Next question. Okay, Star, what would be like your go-to comfort food or something that you love to eat?
okay, that I'm gonna go cheesy here and say star fruit. That's what it is. Or starburst candy. Starburst candy. That's what it is. On the star card, and I want to eat starburst candy because the flavor explodes in my mouth, brings me joy, and makes me feel pretty optimistic. So I'm going with starburst, chewy starburst.
I love that.
There you go. That's what I've got. Short and sweet, and very sweet, actually. Short and sweet. I mean,
Now my mouth is watering for Star.
I know when I was a kid, the idea with Starburst was if you had a loose tooth, it was the funnest way to get the tooth to come out because chewing on Starburst and out it would come, right? I can think of a
great
couple
idea.
I can think of a couple of times where,
Except then you don't want to chew your
you don't.
the tooth comes out in the candy and then
Yeah.
you don't want to.
But you're less worried about the tooth coming out because you've got Starburst in your mouth, right? So
Yeah, true.
all right.
True.
What about you, son? What's your go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food? Okay. Again, I'm going to go with the first thing that popped into my head. So, many, many years ago, I used to have a cake decorating business. So
Yes.
I made like wedding cakes and special occasion cakes. And one time I made a cake that was a sunflower. So it looked like a sunflower. And that popped in my head. I'm like, oh, what would the sun could eat sunflower seeds. That could be, sprinkle some sunflower seeds or some like nut butter made with sunflower seeds. But I'm going with a cake in the shape of a sunflower. And that cake, so my favorite cake is carrot. Okay, I'm going to go carrot cake. I'm going to go carrot cake in the shape of a sunflower. And
Wow.
I'm going to put sunflower seeds in my carrot cake because sometimes people put nuts in carrot cake, like walnuts. I'm switching out the walnuts. I'm putting sunflower seeds in my carrot cake that is shaped like a sunflower.
Okay, you got really specific there. That's good. I love the idea of the sunflower shape, and I think of the color of. I mean, carrot cake isn't kind of that orangey color, but the carrots are. So, all right.
Yeah, and you know what? I like some people don't like pineapple in their carrot cake. I love pineapple in my carrot cake, and that's yellow and that's sunny and bright. So that's what I'm doing.
There you go. Okay. Are you ready for our next question?
Yes.
All right. So, Sun, do you collect anything or have any unusual interests?
Yes, I do. I collect designer sunglasses.
Lovely.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Of course you
And
will.
you know what? I'm going to say designer for a reason
Yeah.
because this sun card is about abundance.
Mhm.
It's about how we view abundance, how we can be grateful for what we have in our life now. And this card comes up for me so many times because I feel like when there's things that I want or something that I want to do in life, I focus so much on the lack of having it that there's so much resistance to actually bringing that. And the sun card invariably will come up for me to be like, Bonnie, focus on all the great things that you have in your life now. Focus on abundance, because if you're focusing on lack, that's just what you're going to keep attracting to you. So the sun card reminds me of like anything is possible, abundance is possible for you. Be grateful. So, I don't own any designer sunglasses, but I sure would like to own some designer sunglasses. So the sun card is going to remind me that yes, you can have designer sunglasses and you can have as many as you want. So,
Wow. Now, um, there's an astrological link for that as well. When you talk about designer sunglasses, because you got the sun card, which has an astrological correspondence of the sun, but the ruler of the sun, sun, Leo and the sun are connected by rulership.
oh,
And a Leo, somebody with the sun in Leo, would be very comfortable wearing a pair of designer sunglasses. Like they would be the person that would be like, yes, look at me. I have my designer sunglasses on. So that's a great choice. That's a great choice for the sun.
thank you. Okay, star card. So do you collect anything or have an unusual interest?
So I was going to go in two different ways with this. I thought I either collect telescopes or in all likelihood, I stargaze. But I stargaze in a way that really makes me familiar with the night sky. So my interest is probably amateur astronomy, and that ties in really nicely with because I think again Aquarius would be the sign linked to like astrologers. So I think that astronomy astrology kind of connection, that what's in the sky from a scientific perspective, what's in the sky from an esoteric perspective would link quite nicely. So I thought originally about telescopes, but I actually think no, I have a hobby. I'm a backyard astronomer. I love to stargaze and see what's in the sky at any given time.
I love that. And there is something about just looking up at the sky at nighttime
Oh, yeah.
and you see shooting stars and
Of course.
you see things in the sky and it's like, how often do we take the time to do that? So,
Yes. Well, you're answering my next question almost, but
okay.
yes. No.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Right. No. Like, you're right. And there was a while where, with my first wife, when the kids were younger, we lived just north of here, and we were kind of away from the lights. And I actually had I think it was called a reflective telescope, and we would set it up on occasion in the backyard, and we'd go and take a look at the planets. And it was really kind of fascinating. It's fascinating when you're looking through a backyard telescope. You expect to see the pictures from a book, but you don't. I mean, they're this big, but you can make out, like we would make out the moons of Jupiter. We would make out the rings of Saturn. They would be quite small. It was pretty cool. The kids loved it, and it was a great way to kind of get outside and to enjoy the night sky. So that's definitely what I would do as the star card.
I love that. So is that your answer for what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
No, well, I would
okay.
stargaze, but I would imagine myself like putting a blanket outside under a nice starlit sky, just trying to reconnect, take in that air, because there's a lot of air with the star sign. Or with the star card, Aquarius is an air sign, despite the fact that Aquarius is the water bearer. So I'd want to take in nice deep breaths while I'm staring up at a night sky. That's how I would unwind. After a long day means that I'm kind of leading into night. So that's That's what I would do. Short and sweet answer again. What's your
I love
favorite
that.
way to unwind after a long day? I don't know. Thinking, does the sun ever unwind?
The sun, yeah, you know what? The sun, it just, it keeps on going. I think the joy and this joie de vivre
Yeah.
keeps on going.
The
I'm
sun's
gonna
hitting the
say,
all-night parties. That's what the sun's doing.
yeah, exactly. The sun's gonna have a pina colada at the end of the day,
Yeah,
you know,
not
that
bad.
like, alcohol, no alcohol, whatever
Mhm.
suits
Yeah,
you, but it's like that drink that
yeah.
just transports you right to Hawaii, or it's like a vacation in a drink. That's
Mm.
what I think. I mean, I don't drink a lot of pina coladas, but I love coconut. I love pineapple. That combination really, it again, it's like you can't be in a bad mood if you're drinking a pina colada.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Exactly.
yeah, I'm gonna enjoy a nice drink,
Okay. Awesome.
something sunny and something that makes me feel good.
Okay. And then I guess the last of our lighter hearted questions. What's a song or an artist you've been listening to lately?
Okay. So now I have the pina colada in my head. What's that song? Do you like
If you like
pina
pina
coladas? Do you like
coladas, yeah.
pina coladas?
Right.
That's it. Isn't that song from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like in like desolate wherever planet destruction, and he's got this tape and he's
Yep.
listening to this song, and he's like instantly in a good mood. So he's in like this crappy place, but again, this song about pina coladas is like making him feel really good. So I think that's a really good analogy of the sun card. Again, like you can be in a place where you're just like, oh my God, like it's like negative and like all this stuff is piling up. But in a moment, can you just take a moment to be like, how can I how can I transport myself just a little bit out of this place? How can I shift my energy just a little bit to bring some of that abundance, that sunshine, that like life-giving energy back into my life? So I don't know the name of that song. You probably know the name
I
of
think it's
it.
called the Pina Colada Song, and it is by somebody's going to help us putting in the comments, Rupert somebody or other.
Okay.
The theme of the song is actually it's these two spouses who are kind of tired with each other. So they take an ad out in the paper, and the ad says, if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and so forth and so on. And what ends up happening is they actually answer each other's ad.
So, see? Oh my gosh, look, and there's two
Right.
people, like there's
Correct.
right in a lot of the sun cards there's two. It's like
Yeah.
the twins, right? So, oh, that's so funny. See,
Right.
we can't make this up, people.
Right. And finding joy in what, was originally an unpleasant situation. Two people kind of in a stuck relationship. They feel stuck and they end up, going to put an ad in to have an affair, and they end up finding out that they're made for their response to the ad was each other. So
Aw.
there you go.
Okay, now I have to go and like listen to that song in its entirety and really absorb that.
My band keeps teasing about it being the perfect song to add to our playlist, because it's it would be kind of a good fun sort of song. So one of these days that might be the case. So
That's awesome. Yeah, that would be great.
all right,
Sign me up, Peter. I'll come.
Okay.
I'll come listen.
I know
Okay.
you will. I know you will.
Yes. So Star Card, what's a
Yes.
song or artist you've been listening to lately?
Of course, a bunch jump into my head, but then I had to think 80s theme. I went with Lucky Star from Madonna. Just because I thought,
yay.
right, the idea of luck and star, often the idea of wishing upon a star, that concept of hope and optimism usually starts with a wish or an intention. It's not necessarily that, the song is more kind of, relationship based, but I also think it was her first big hit as well. So in some ways it was like Madonna's rise to stardom as well.
I had that 45. I was in grade 4.
You might have
or
to
5.
explain to some people what a 45
What a 45
is.
is exactly. But that, yeah, I was rocking out to Madonna when I was in 5th grade.
We always had in high school, there were always people that had that Madonna look, that they were, her early, kind of the black lace, and then same, kind of black leggings. And yeah, that was big. That song was huge. I remember my high school girlfriend being a big, big fan of that song. So that's what the star is listening to, is Lucky Star by Madonna.
I love that. So, okay. This is our hope for having these conversations. Yeah. It's like if you pull the star card and Lucky Star pops into your head when you look at that card, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's right. Like hope, right? Like what are the things that I want in life? Like that's the whole purpose of this. It's like, how can we use these cards and have these conversations to broaden sort of the messaging and the meaning behind those cards? So I'm gonna start singing that song in my head now.
Yeah. And it's hard because there's always some, like I use this as kind of a mnemonic device in my Major Arcana course, where I talk about the idea of making a personal connection to a song or to a card. And often for me, because, those who are watching can see music as part of my life, my keyboard's in the background flashing away. Music is often that personal connection. So, like you said, I think, making personal connections and making those, kind of memory and mnemonic relationships to cards. It's why we're having these conversations. Two cards at a time, right? Pina coladas in the sun, and the joyful story of, two people who were struggling in a relationship and find joy with each other. Joy is a big word that would go with the sun card. So, right? We're having fun and we're learning at the same time.
Exactly. Yay.
Exactly. All right. We got harder questions now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Sure. Do you want me to ask you first then?
Oh, sure.
All right. So, star card, what pattern do I keep repeating and why?
Star or sun?
Oh, sorry, sun. I'm the star. Yes. Sorry.
You're the star, Peter.
I'm
okay.
the star card. You're the sun. Well, actually, if you're the sun card, you're the star. But yeah.
True. Okay. Okay. So what pattern do you keep repeating and why? Okay. As the sun card, what pattern do you keep repeating, Peter, and why? I'm going to say that, again, it's like not taking enough time to be grateful for what you have in your life and seeing maybe the things that we don't have as opposed to the things that we do have in life. So sometimes it's like, it's a subconscious pattern that we have that's like, I don't have that thing. And we often overlook everything that we do have. So that's what I'm going to go with. Overlooking all the great things that you have, like overlooking that and feel like, and it's kind of what I talked about a little bit earlier, feeling the lack of not having something that you want and not noticing all of the stuff that you do have that could be bringing you joy in an instant.
Okay.
I don't know if that resonates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the connection with the sun card there as well. The idea of looking for, I guess, that, or looking and trying to find that brilliance, that brightness, that's there. No, thank you. I can definitely resonate with that.
Okay. Right. Okay, Star, your turn. Right. What pattern do I keep repeating and why?
Okay. I mean, there are, I guess, a couple of possibilities, but I'm sorry for those of you. I'm looking down. I'm actually looking at the card just to try and draw, some inspiration. I guess a repeating pattern with the star through the star card would be kind of being stuck in that wish phase, where we talk about wishing upon a star and forgetting that although a wish or an intention is a great first step, that usually what has to happen are actions that follow. And I always think it's kind of interesting that we have the star and the sun card, because I think the star is actually the start of that illumination path and the sun ends the illumination path in the Major Arcana. And the star card kind of starts with that intention, that hope, even that, I wish that kind of statement, and, kind of walks through that idea of reflection, doing some of the work, what do I need to do, to what steps do I need to follow? And then the sun card being that, how do I then bring all of this work out into the world? And the pattern that the star card would highlight would be getting stuck in that first phase, would be really putting an awful lot of intention in that wish, a lot of energy into that wish and that intention stage, and forgetting that there are other stages that sort of follow to make things easier to happen, that we actually have to go from the star to the sun and not just sit in that star phase. So,
yep.
I don't know if that resonates with people.
Yes, 100%.
I thought about the idea of, of overly optimistic, because that could be a pattern as well that would sit in this card as well. Sitting in kind of, esoteric or even woo-woo spaces too much would be another pattern that the star card would highlight, because again, the star card being connected to Aquarius, being particularly the realm of the astrologer, but I think the realm of the of the divinatory practitioner would be that too. So
yes, I do like to live in that world, so that also resonates for me. Thank you, Peter.
There you go. You're very welcome. And I will thank the star card for her guidance as well, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Star.
Okay. All right. You want to ask me again, or?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So then on the heels of that, what is blocking or challenging me right now?
So, and this is where I might go into a different direction. So I've actually, and I'll show the card here, because the one thing I didn't talk about in any of the choices that's apparent in almost all of the star cards is that concept of balance, right? The star card usually has foot in water, foot on ground, or foot in water and foot outside in the air. And I always think that, the star card is a real good representation of all of that balance. The 4 elements are represented in there, fire being the star. I mean, a star is basically a sun that's, kind of far away. Water is obviously there with, her foot in the water. The earth is there. She's either resting her foot on the earth, or in this particular iteration, the card, she's actually sitting on a rock. And then the air that is kind of that's surrounding. So I always think one of the key themes to the star card that, in some ways almost relates to a past guest we had with temperance, is that concept of balance. And sometimes the star card can sort of signal that idea of, of just being out of balance, and temperance is often a balance between two things. It's often like a moderation between two things, whereas the star card is often more of a balance, of a more holistic balance, because the star card has all 4 elements sort of represented in it. So, to kind of get back to the question, and it's got it right, the idea of blocking and challenging, it's that it might be that lack of balance. So maybe too much fire and not enough air, too much earth, not enough water, too much water, whatever it happens to be, from an elemental perspective, something is out of whack or out of balance.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
Does it? Okay, good. Well, the tarot and its guidance, is usually pretty wise. And then again, for people, take a look at your star card and see what I mean by the representation of the 4 elements. You in all likelihood have a card where she is manipulating at least 2, if not 3 of the elements that are there as well. But the presence of all 4 elements is almost always there. Even, like I said, even the sign that it's associated to there's confusion, because, Aquarius is an air sign, but Aquarius is also the water bearer, right? So that water, air kind of exists inside the myth, even though it doesn't exist inside the sign. So even that idea of balance.
I love that.
Okay. Oh, you're welcome. So Sun, what is blocking and challenging me right now?
Okay, Peter, are you ready?
I am.
So it's funny because I equate this with the star, and I also equate it with the sun. So it's this sense of vulnerability. So a lot of times in the star card, the woman or whoever's in the card quite often isn't wearing anything. They don't have any clothes on. And it's the sense of vulnerability. And the sun card quite often is the same thing, because usually there's like a child on a horse and the child, isn't, although you don't see anything, it's like they're not wearing anything. And it's this idea of like coming out into the sun in who you are, right? So if you think about something that could be blocking or challenging you would be like, how can I show up and be vulnerable in this space and still want what, like, you know what I mean? Like, how can I use this vulnerability as my superpower to still be happy and to still find joy in who I show up as a person? So, that and the sun too, it has this way of like, the sun is strong. So to come out in the sun without any clothes on can seem extremely daunting, right? Because it's like, there's nothing, you can't hide from anything when the sun is that bright. So bringing yourself into the light exactly as you are, and being okay with taking up the space that you need to take up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. Bringing yourself into the light exactly as you are is exactly who you are. That it kind of reminds me a little bit, and I think it was Sasha Graham we were talking to about, was it Sasha Graham? Maybe it was Mary Greer. One of our guests to talk about the idea of the sun, it was Yasmin Bolin. We were talking about the idea of being, exceptionally vulnerable in the light of the sun, that, the sun.
Yeah, Sasha talks about that also too. So that could be like,
so it's a common theme then.
Yeah.
Where and I think the response, I think what I'm thinking now is when Yasmin had said, sometimes it's actually the light of the moon that you have to look at and reflect on things because it's a softer light, makes it that much easier. So it reminds me of the connection between the sun, the moon, and the star card as well in the tarot. So, all right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that guidance. And then, of course, to follow the same pattern, I'll ask you the last question. Then, what will support me moving forward?
Okay. What's going to support you to move forward? Okay. I'm going to say gratitude. I'm going to say coming up with, if you actually, I know how much you love to journal, Peter.
Oh, yes.
Right? So you can do this in any way you want. If you want to take pen to paper, or you want to write in your, like with your iPad, or just saying it out loud, or maybe taking some time. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. Go sit outside in the sun and think about all the things that you're grateful for, and find joy in what you have right now. And when you take the time to do that, you shift your energy into this energy of abundance and positivity and joy. And I mean, we all know, like, there's times in our life that suck. So like, this isn't, you had mentioned earlier about being overly optimistic, and there is a time where like, we need to sit in the crap, but that's not the sun card. The sun card is like, no, be joyful, be like, this is a time of yes. If there's something that you want to do, the sun is saying, go for it, right? Like this is one of those cards in the tarot that if you're looking for a yes, the sun is your yes. So whatever it is that you want to do, you have the ability to do that, but do it with joy and the idea that it can be successful. Like, you have the ability to make this happen. Bask in the glory of the sun, and don't be afraid to be yourself as you're doing this. Like, don't let those blocks of vulnerability or, the lack of not having something deter you. So make your gratitude list, sit outside. I mean, it's nice. The weather's getting nice. It's still a little wonky. It has its moments, but I would say, be grateful for what you have, and know that whatever it is that you want to do it with joy, and you'll always have success when you come at it from that lens. Okay. So,
all right. And, just as a caveat, I know we've talked about my lack of connection to written journal stuff, but I do like to mentally reflect. So I do appreciate the idea of even a gratitude exercise. And I'll definitely take that outside. That is definitely something that I will do. So thank you for that reminder. I love that, the idea of gratitude in the sun, for sure. So, All
Good.
right.
Okay. So, Star, what will support me to move forward?
Look, I mean, I think the star is a perfect card actually when we talk about the idea of what will support me to move forward, because that's where the concept of, of remaining optimistic, even though we have to recognize that, that hope is not enough, that hope requires action and requires us to kind of do things to move forward. We still have to maintain hope and optimism, right? Because the other piece of the star card is guidance, and that the star is actually our very first guide in the night sky. It's the first light that we see. So it's recognizing that, yes, we kind of have to move past that concept of intention, past that concept of hope, but we don't lose sight of it either. Because then if we do lose sight of, of the night sky, of the star in the night, we also lose our direction as well. So it's making sure that moving forward, that we actually move forward, but that we don't lose sight of the light and the hope and the optimism and the guidance that is the star card, that's represented in the star card.
I love that.
Does that make
Thank
sense?
you. Oh, 100%. Yes.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
I have lots to think about. I mean, this was a good card for me. It's funny, like we're pulling cards like to give advice or whatever, but we're really getting
it's like we're getting
a reading from
mini
each
readings
other,
from each
right?
other. I know. I was thinking the same thing when you talk about the idea of gratitude, particularly, with some things that are kind of going on now. And I was just telling you, I miss doing a newsletter to my to my subscribers because of some things that are happening, and then just to recognize though, of my own position of privilege, and and being grateful for the things that I have. You're right. Sometimes stuff is crappy, and we got to sit in the crap. But in the long run, that reminder to be like, yeah, but here's what you can be grateful for. So I did appreciate that today. I agree. They were like little mini public readings that, and you talk about being vulnerable, right? The idea, we got two cards that represent the idea of vulnerability, and here we are, with the Zoom cameras, on and saying, all right, well, we'll do readings for each other. So.
Yeah, exactly. And
hopefully
same for me with the star card, right? Like that represents a lot of healing for me. And I am on this healing journey. I've been on this journey for a long time. And just when we think like, oh, okay, like I'm getting somewhere, something else shows up and it's like, now I got to deal with this thing. So it is like the star card, it's like there is hope, right? Even when things are really tough or we feel like, when is this going to be over? There's always hope. And it is focusing on your desire and then taking action in that direction. So I really appreciate that, that insight. So thank you.
Yeah. It reminded me, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said something like, life can both be great and hard at the same time. Right.
That's duality. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
nobody said it was easy. Oh, that's the scientist song that I've got that's going through my head right now. And going back to the start. Anyways, I digress. Although I'll probably jump.
Oh, I just thought of a good song for you, Ziggy Stardust.
There you go. Now we're talking.
That just popped into my head. Now we're talking. Get a little David Bowie action going.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That was an old band of mine. We used to do a great rendition of Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy played guitar. Love it. All right.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Well, Peter, that was a great episode. Do you want to let people know where they can find you, what you have going on?
Sure. I mean, two places to find me, really. One is tarotwithbonnieandpeter.com. And the other is at Peter White Tarot. The big thing I have going on right now, and I'm really pleased to have recorded the very first webinar of my Cards of the Zodiac series. So it's a series that blends two, esoteric systems that are both important to me and that I'm passionate about. So it's something I've been trying to think about for quite some time. Very well received. But obviously, the recordings are always available. We're not even in Cancer season yet, which was the first episode, which were cards of Cancer. So, if that's of interest to you, if learning a little bit about tarot and astrology and how they blend together in a series of cards associated with each of the 12 signs of the zodiac, that's the biggie that I've got going on right now. And of course, Cards of Leo will be the seminar coming next. That's not coming until July 12th live, but if that's of interest, then that should be available for registration very shortly. Again, either on my website or to my website via tarotwithbonnieandpeter.com. What about you, Bonnie?
Yeah, so people same can find me on our brand new website, tarotwithbonnieandpeter.com. You can also go to my personal website, which is breathewithbonnie.com. And I also have a workshop coming up. I did this workshop in person and same. It was very well received. So I thought, okay, let's put it out into the ethers. And we're going to do it online. So I have an online workshop coming up. It's called Tarot as a Mirror, Not the Future, Just You Right Now. So this really helps you to look at tarot from a different perspective. It's a very beginner friendly. So if you have a deck, you're not quite sure how to use it, or you feel a little intimidated by the tarot, this is a really great way just to start sparking that intuitive conversation with the cards. And it's not about memorizing or learning anything, but really deepening your connection with the cards. So that's coming up on July the 3rd. You can go to my website, check out all the details. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Well, that's fantastic. And you know what? If you have any questions for us or comments, suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you in the comments and on whatever platform you happen to be listening to us. We want to thank you so much as well for taking the time once again to spend a little tarot time with Bonnie and I. Please, by all means, like, subscribe, and share. That way we get to send the all of this fun tarot stuff out into the universe. But mostly we want to thank you for hanging out here with us as we have dinner with another pair of Major Arcana cards today. Dinner with the Star and the Sun card. And on that note, we hope to see you again at Tarot with Bonnie and Peter. Bye for now.